Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 117. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I'm Todd Oxtra, one of your hosts, joined by my friend from the far east coast, a survivor of strep throat. That's Mark the Canadian Carabin.
Hello. I'm feeling much better and happy to be here. Although I am wearing glasses because my contacts were irritating my eyes. So I'm like better, but like there's still something wrong. So here we are.
Don't worry, Mark, it gets better in about 10 years.
All right, great.
And we are joined by a, I don't know, Carly, I don't know how many times you've been on the show, but many, many times. Carly Kjelstrom, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm always happy to be here with you guys. This is so much fun every single time. Hello again.
Yes, and if you're watching on YouTube right now, you will see lots of Carly's handiwork. She is talented, and she will gladly sell you awesome stuff. So by all means, at the end of the show, we'll tell you exactly how you can reach out to her and have a really cool, awesome woodwork, collectibles, displays of awesome talent. So we are glad to have you on again, Carly. This will be a very fun episode. Well, maybe for us more so than you, but we'll see how it goes. But we want to thank our Patreons. They're the ones that make this all possible. Let me just tell you that we have some great folks on Patreon. We have Best Bud, Jamie Prinky, BFFs Sean, Stella, Henry Nias, Missy Merchant, and Andy Milliken. And once again, if you are a secret friend at any of these levels, get to join our Discord group, get to put in comments about the shows, you get to select topics, you get to make crazy comments, and you get to have really long answers to questions we pose out there. And Mark, if people want to check out our Patreon, how can they do
that? They can send a homing pigeon to the following address. No, I'm just joking. It's not that complicated. They can actually go to. Yes,
that's right.
Right. I forgot we're upgrading to ravens. I always forget that.
Hopefully avian flu isn't happening this year.
Working. Yeah. So they can go to patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. And if you're interested in trying it risk-free, you can get a free 7-day trial right meow and check out all the awesome, cool, exclusive stuff for 7 full days, and then be like, whoa, this is great, and decide to support ongoing. So you can,
yes, and the power of Patreons is strong because we actually have one of our first requests due to a specific comic series on Spinner Rack. So we're going to try to accommodate that if we can find the right comics to do so. So awesome. Check it out. Let us know. If you enjoy it, stick around and enjoy the rest of the good stuff. But with that, we move on to some people's favorite and some people's least favorite part of the show, and that is buy, rent, or return. This is simple. You've been a Blockbuster. You were checking out the shelves. One of those movies you took home. You wanted to watch it forever, so you bought it. The other, you watched it once. You had a good memory. You rented it. You enjoyed it. The other movie, you watched 5 minutes, like Super Troopers. You didn't enjoy it. You return it. Yes, Mark. Yes.
What?
Yes.
No. Why is Super Troopers your go-to bad movie? No.
Yes. Actually watched that with a friend of mine from the Air Force. We were looking for a movie. We heard about Super Troopers. Like, hey, this is a great movie. It's a cult classic. Put it in. Lasted about 10 minutes. We're like, this is the dumbest movie. We are obviously not in the right mindset for this movie and have never looked back.
Gone back and watched it when you were in the right mindset.
Mark, I hate to say this, or maybe I don't know. I've never been in the mindset because I was in the Air Force all those years, so I kind of missed any of those opportunities. To be honest, it's just not been in my wheelhouse. So no.
But it's so good.
Once started people doing the meow thing, I'm like, nope.
I just did that.
I know you did. I point.
I am flabbergasted and upset right now, and I need people in their Discord to back me up and tell me.
This isn't going to be one of those Tad Lasso moments with Charlie. Oh well. We will sidebar this and have an official Patreon admin discussion, I think. Oh well. So this buy, rent, return is the best year of gaming. Now, this isn't, I didn't include every year. I just picked a few that I saw. I'm like, wow, these are fantastic years of gaming, because everyone is talking about 2023 is the best year in gaming everywhere. And so depending on what you're playing, what games you love, any year could be your best, if you're the best year of gaming based on your criteria. So I picked essentially 3. They're from the 2000s. So I know there's things that were from the earlier years, but it just seemed like the wealth of these years were just amazing. So I'll go through these really quick. 2001, Halo, GTA 3, Super Mario Bros. Melee, Devil May Cry, Final Fantasy X, Luigi's Mansion, Metal Gear Solid 2, Paper Mario, and Max Payne. 2001. 2007, BioShock, Assassin's Creed, Uncharted, Mass Effect, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, Halo 3, Super Mario Bros. Galaxy, Portal, Team Fortress 2, and in 2015, Witcher 3, Super Mario Maker, Metal Gear Solid 5, Fallout 4, Arkham Knight, Ori and the Blind Forest, Undertale, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Bloodborne. Whew.
Man.
I don't even know what to say. So with that, now it's a lot to just look through. If you haven't looked at this list, you can walk yourself through it if you want. But we're going to start with Carly.
I mean, this was actually pretty easy for me.
You are younger, so that might play into it, maybe?
I'm flattered. How young do you think I am?
I mean, I know you have kids, so I mean, you got to at least be like 25.
Coming up on 30.
Okay, see?
So I guess younger enough, I suppose. Okay, so 2007 is the year that I buy. I love Uncharted and Mass Effect. We've also got Super Mario Bros. Galaxy. I mean, it's Galaxy, so... Portal, I love to death. 2007 was pretty easy just because I had a lot of things that I just, I like. I'm going to rent 2001 because Paper Mario is one of my true loves. And I have never played Luigi's Mansion, but for some reason, I adore it. So there's that.
I respect that.
It's the idea of it, the aesthetics, the goofiness.
The idea of it, it's Luigi, Luigi the best. I mean, it's Luigi's Mansion. Super Smash, or that's supposed to be Super Smash Bros, right?
I Super Mario Brothers Melee, but it should be Super Smash Brothers. So I that's my mistake. I got into the SMB mindset.
I feel right now, my nerd card still exists. And Super Smash Bros. Melee, there are some very interesting memories that I have of that game at a house whose family I can't even remember their name anymore. But I just know that for some reason, the boys let me play with them, and that was like the highlight of every time we went over to their house. So that's the rent year for me, and I'm sorry, I'm returning 2015. I really liked Fallout 3, and Fallout 4 was just kind of I guess. And as much as I adore the idea of Super Mario Maker, this is where I'm going to kind of switch around the idea on Luigi's Mansion. We tried it, and we realized we are not game creators. Not when it comes to building a Mario level. We made like some smaller ones, so we actually have some really fun videos of our oldest when she was trying out the levels that we made on Mario Maker. It's hilarious. I never got to play Ori either, though. So, I mean, I gotta return 2015.
It's some good rationale. I like that. I think you appreciate, but yeah, certain things call to you, and that's really overwhelming at some point. It just gets to you. So yes. Good to hear, though. 2001 had some highlights for you, even though you were a young child at that time.
Yes.
Mark.
You know what? I'm gonna mirror a lot of the same answers, I think. So starting with 2007 as my buy. 100%. It was such a groundbreaking year. You look at some of the games, even the ones you mentioned, and there's some that you didn't. And that's a good segue for me to actually read a comment in our Discord from Famous Seamus. the first off, he said, okay, one, how dare you? Because these were excellent years, and I agree with him. And I agree with a lot of the stuff, but he brought up some other games that really, really steered me in my picking of this. Not that I needed it based, like I could have probably had these same answers just based on the ones that you listed, but I'm going to read Famous Seamus's breakdown. This was pretty hard to decide, he said. So I had to go with my gut. By 2007, this was the year I really got into gaming, thanks to shows like The Electric Playground, X-Play, and Reviews on the Run. I remember getting Mario Galaxy for Christmas. This year started so many big franchises, and that's why I'm choosing 2017. This is me aside. That's the reason. It started so many of these franchises. So back to Famous Seamus. This year started so many big franchises like BioShock, Uncharted, and Assassin's Creed, and they were massive games that Todd didn't mention, like God of War 2, Stranglehold, Metroid Prime 3, and Rock Band. Just
Rock Band. Yes.
I forgot about that. Holy cow. That game is a special in my heart. Wow.
So yeah, same reasons that I'm picking this. Like that was such a groundbreaking year with new, it seemed like they were just trying new stuff. Like a lot of gaming nowadays is like sequels and franchise stuff. This, like, how can you get a year that was like BioShock, Uncharted, and Assassin's Creed and Rock Band and like just there's so much.
Yeah.
So much. And like Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare completely rewrote like the Call of Duty. Like that was when Call of Duty just took off, in my opinion, as like a good.
Everybody played that Call of Duty.
Franchise. Yeah, that was it. Like that was the one. Team Fortress 2, like Team Fortress 1 had its little cult following, but Team Fortress 2, like the orange box with that and Portal, and like that was just so good. Like what a freaking year. Holy. Getting back to Famous Seamus. So Rent 2001. I don't remember a lot of this year since I would have been six years old.
Rub it in.
Go away.
I was married in 2001.
Oh,
youngins.
All right. I think I was like starting high school. I think I was starting high school maybe. Yeah, I think so. But I grew up playing Melee and Luigi's Mansion, and I know games like Halo and GTA 3 helped revolutionize games. Other big games you didn't mention: Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, Silent Hill 2, SSX Tricky, Eco, Jack and Dexter,
Pikmin. And Daxter.
Great series.
Oh my gosh.
Pikmin, Twisted Metal Black, Sonic Adventure 2, Golden Sun, Advance Wars, dude. Yep. Rogue Squadron 2, and Simpsons Hit and Run. This
great
honestly
game.
Was like the contender for
holy cow,
my number one. But the 2007 as a groundbreaking year, I have to agree with Seamus here. So like,
sorry, awesome. I was limited to a PowerPoint slide.
No worries. I get it. And that's why we have Seamus breaking stuff down.
Yes.
So to finish off, I'm agreeing with this Return 2015, and the rationale. I'll read Seamus's. Not saying that this wasn't an important year, but this year was great, thanks to new games and franchises started years ago.
Indeed.
Other big games you didn't mention: Soma, Life is Strange, Heroes of the Storm, Her Story, Until Dawn, Mortal Kombat 10, Dying Light, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Mad Max, Crypt of the Necrodancer, Axiom Verge. Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Transformers Devastation, and Halo 5.
Good game.
Yeah. Great games, but like a lot of relying on franchises, a lot of like not trying as much new stuff. I agree with Seamus on that breakdown. I don't think I could say it better myself, which is why I read his and just agreed with it, because like that was such a good breakdown. Agree with all those points. And Seamus, thank you so much, man. You're amazing.
Yes, great rationale here, and it just adds more to like, oh no, what am I going to choose? Because he added more things that made it even harder for me to choose.
Even based on your list, like I have to agree with those choices. Like you look at the ones you list, like BioShock, Assassin's Creed, Uncharted for 2007. 15 you had like, Yeah,
a lot of trilogies, a lot of 2015 was like the third iteration of something. Tomb Raider, that was its third reboot. I mean, yeah. I mean, and then you've got some things that were lovable, things. And it is funny because I would go with 2007 would be my buy year as well. BioShock, and I think of like that was Xbox 360's generation to own, along with the Wii was a year later, so was PlayStation 3. But they launched so heavy with Gears of War, BioShock, Mass Effect. I mean, Xbox 360 just could not do wrong, and that was the reason to own that console and the reason they did so well, because they knocked out of the park. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare, everybody played that game. I remember playing that single player campaign, and it was just blown away. I'm like, wow, I expected this to be more like I didn't expect it to be like a 24 like Jack Ryan like over the top roller coaster ride, and that's exactly what it was. So great. Mario Galaxy, fantastic. Portal, it's a classic. That is a great year. And I think what helps is this is like year 2 for Xbox. It was year 1 of PlayStation. No, year 2. Essentially, you had a little bit more mature this is also the first next gen, era too. So I think it pushed some barriers graphically, sound wise, things like that as well. So I think that's what helped it quite a bit, push the envelope. And wow. I'm really torn between 2015 and 2011 or 2001. But I think I have to pick 2015 because Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. It took 2 games to get to where it became a classic. I love that. Arkham Knight, I love that so much. Such a great end of the series. I know it's not everybody's favorite, but then I think of games like Undertale. My son, just many people, that's one of their favorite games of all time. It's modern, it's weird, it's eclectic, great soundtrack. Rise of Tomb Raider, I did love that Tomb Raider. It was probably my favorite Tomb Raider game. And Bloodborne, this game, it's Joseph Moran's one of his favorite games of all time. So I think this was doing great things. It was still early. This is the second year, or coming into like the first year of next gen. So of that year. So I think it still did not have the arsenal of games. And quite honestly, Nintendo was not in a good place at that time either. So we're kind of lacking. The Wii U is not the best platform for Nintendo at that point. So I think it was kind of a staggered generation. 2001, great games. So I'm going to return that. I was never a Halo guy at that point. I really got into Halo with 2 and 3. GTA 3, never really got into GTA, but I know how important that it is to gaming itself. Melee was not a Smash Brothers guy. Devil May Cry, though, love that series. It blew me away when I first saw that. And Jack and Daxter, I mean, it was really a cool era of gaming, but that's where I would be. They're all good. I mean, that's the problem. It's
no, it's super tough choices. Great job.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad everyone enjoyed this. This is fun. It makes you remember that everybody has a certain era that they could say that their favorite year. So this year though is a fantastic year for gaming. And that I think that we're very lucky to have that, especially after COVID and everything impacted us. We're finally getting some great games. So very good. So, and now we're actually going to talk about the games we are playing. So we're going to start, Mark, I'm going to skip you and go right to Carly. Carly, what you been playing?
So I guess my nerd card is going to get a little bit punchier though. I have not been playing very much of anything. Reasons being is because I've been incredibly busy, as we talked about before we got live. But also we have been kind of tag teaming on Tears of the Kingdom. My husband has it's on his system. We have 2 systems. It's on his system, and so he does like all of the main stuff, like the fighting and the finding the memories. And so like I'm there for all of it because I enjoy watching him do this stuff. And then we haven't updated our game since like before 1.1.2 or something like that, because it got rid of the duplication glitch.
My son yelled at me for that. It reset because we played another game, and I didn't realize when you play another game, it resets and it automatically. My son was going to kill me.
Yes,
like, Dad, I can't duplicate anymore.
Turned it off as soon as because mine updated, which is part of the reason I stopped playing on my system. So I did all the duplicating for him. I went around and I hunted down all of the pieces. I have, I should have had that. We have the list of all the items that you need to upgrade all of your stuff. I should really go grab that in a second. And so I rode on all the dragons for like 30, 45 minutes to make sure I could get each piece that I needed, every dragon. I went and, I mean, he fought the Lionels for like the stuff that we needed from the Lionels. I was like, I ain't doing that. But I went around and I hunted all of the beetles, and I went and bought all of the bugs, and I went and collected everything that was on the list, because that's fun for me. That was my contribution to the game. And then like I would go to shrines just to get the activation point, and then I would leave. So he's been doing all of the shrines that I left behind, which was a lot. And then I explored a ton of the chasms. I love the depths so much. That is like my jam. I'm going around and I'm finding all the light roots. And so that's been kind of fun because I found tons of light roots. So Jason's been going to the light root locations so then he can, figure out where the shrine is above it in the regular world. And I was hopping around all of the Skylands, and it's so much fun. So there's that. I don't get much chance to play, but I this is kind of how our gaming is. Like, unless it's something like Hogwarts Legacy, which was freaking phenomenal, by the way. Or
I'm going to pause on you. So how many hours did you put into that game?
I don't know, probably over 100 at this point. Because I when it comes to games like Hogwarts Legacy or Skyrim or, Fallout 3, right? Like, I do things as they come along because I don't want to go back. So, like, I spent so long doing, like, all of the Merlin trials to make sure I wouldn't have to go back and do the Merlin trials, so I could have all of the pouches that I need, so I wouldn't have to come back to get the things that I need. So, like, I am like the worst. I cannot be the savior of the world because I will take 5 years in game to save the world. And the world will just burn while I'm collecting booble gems or Merlin trials or whatever. The world can burn. I'm going to have my pouch space. Dang it. Like,
you need to be prepared.
Oh, yes.
You're going to save the world. You need as many things in your pockets as possible.
And you'll never use them. That's how I've learned in games. You get all the stuff and you're like, well, I can't use it. I might need it later. And then I
don't even know how many times I crashed in like Fallout 3 because I would try to open something.
Oh, too much stuff.
I'd have like 500 nukas or something.
Yeah, because Mark, I think Loren had how many hours? Like you said, over 80, right?
She has just restarted it again. She's up probably past that. I don't know the last time we checked.
If you plan to replay as Hufflepuff one of these days because they get the Azkaban.
She's replayed it with every house. She has every achievement in the game.
Nice.
And
my girl.
Just restarted another one just for fun.
I beat the game and only got 60 hours. I feel like a rookie compared to everyone else. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
This is everything I needed a Harry Potter game to be, though.
It was great.
As this was my childhood. This was like my dream. I turned my Harry Potter books into spell books by making paper covers for my books that were like Transfiguration, charms, but like this was my life. And so like as an adult, I'm like, this is the best of everything. And it honestly couldn't have been better. Like there was already a Quidditch game, so I wasn't even upset that there was no Quidditch in the game because there was a wholly separate Quidditch game years ago, and I played the heck out of that.
And there's going to be another one.
Yeah, and you're going to get another one. Yeah. And I bet if it's a dedicated Quidditch game, it's probably going to be better than someone that says, if we're doing everything, it might be okay.
Yeah. Exactly. And to round up everything else, I have been playing a lot of 2 Dots on mobile. So that's a fun one to check out.
Okay.
Yeah.
is it just a puzzle game where you have to connect 2 dots, or is there more to it?
Well, yeah. So that's the basics. Is you're connecting 2 dots at minimum. It's not even like a connect 3 or anything, but it's puzzle games. You've got various obstacles to get past as well, like certain things that you have to like break the ice 5 times, or you have to bring all the water by making connections next to the water, and it'll flow over there. And I got my husband addicted, so I mean, that's probably
Did
a
your
win.
job. No, I like the fact that every time your husband would go to play Tears of the Kingdom, he's like, "Oh, more stuff." I like that. It's like a gift that keeps giving.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It's like it's such a great team. If he wants to do this part, you want to do that part. You guys are like that perfect like tackling things together couple. It's fantastic.
Well, we're obviously not the only ones who wanted co-op or the ability to play as something or another. Specifically Zelda, which I have hope now. We're getting a Peach game, which I know we're going to get into that in a minute, but we're getting a Peach game. Can we get a Zelda game, maybe? Please? Oh my gosh, I will die of happiness.
The Legend of Link, Zelda's
Yes.
Adventure.
I mean, and this could have... I can't get started. If I get started on this, I'm going to talk for like 30 minutes.
It's okay. So, we've all played this game. So, the hour mark, my son has completed at this point. I think he's completed the game. So now he's my guru. He's my Sherpa, telling me exactly what to do, saving me time, which has been fantastic. And I don't mind it because I feel like that's half the fun is, Carly, you mentioned like, I've done this or I've done that. I'm like, I haven't seen a Lionel yet. And I've got 50 hours on. I have not done this. And I'm like, Beatles? I don't see any Beatles yet. So everybody's got a story in this game. And I've only beat one temple and I'm 50 hours in. And Mark, I mean, while you were sick, is this what you got to do?
A little bit. I've picked it up over the past weekend or so. So I don't know exactly my hour count, but I've finished like the first Rito temple. I've gone underground. I've done all that kind of stuff, but I'm still pretty early on as far as I'm concerned. I did see a Lionel, scared the crap out of me because I was way too early. And it was like, I got the ascend thing and I'm like, hey, I wonder if I can do an ascend up through this mountain. And I came up and I was like way too close. And this thing was luckily facing the other way. And I had like, I'm still talking like 3-4 hearts or whatever at this point. And I'm like, just like a half naked Link, like, oh,
nope.
Shoot. And like, you can't dive back down. So I'm like turning around like that little, like, okay, yeah, right. Okay. My wife's
you came all the way up. You didn't look
I thought you just snuck your head out. You're like, ooh, ooh.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
You didn't go for it?
No, I came up and I just like instantly pressed A and then turned around. There's a Lionel there and he's facing the other way. And I'm like, okay, this is bad. This is bad news.
Just imagine doing that with a Gleeok.
I bailed. He luckily didn't get me, which was good. So I lived to Link another day. But yeah, I'm very much enjoying it. It took me a little while to get into this, and I think it was because of Jedi Survivor. I wanted to finish that game out. I wanted to explore more in that.
Yeah.
And so there was something that was bugging my brain starting this. And I think talking to my brother and my nephew, who's now playing Jedi Survivor, the big sticking point for Tears of the Kingdom for me, just getting into it, getting started, was starting back at scratch, starting back naked in a cave with 3 hearts and no weapons, and this and
freezing to death is never fun.
And Jedi Survivor did such a great job of just being like, here's where the last game ended. Here's all your powers. You're going to get some new ones, but enjoy being a badass.
And you're actually stronger too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jason pointed out the exact same thing. It was weird going from a game that had continued, where most things restart you. I mean, even Forbidden West restarted you. It was definitely painful because you go in and you're like, I got the Master Sword. I'm like 40 hearts for some reason because you only ended with like 30. And And then it's gone, and that was really painful.
Enjoy another 120 shrines to get all of that hearts and stamina you'll need.
132. Oh, no, 152, because there's 32 in the sky.
So that was my sticking point with this. So I played Diablo for a little bit as like a palate cleanser, and now that I'm a couple of weeks removed from Jedi Survivor, and I picked up, my brother's been talking about Tears of the Kingdom. He's been bugging me to like get into it because he wants to talk about some of the stuff, and I was like, I just got to get it. I have to get past that pain point, and I find like that's kind of where I was hitting. I was the traversal up to the Rito temple was so good. Figuring out the way to get from the ground to the sky, straight up to the temple, and finally go through that, defeat the boss. I tried to do that temple way too late, because by the time like I did it like after Finn went to bed, we were doing a Lord of the Rings extended version marathon over the weekend as well. It's like 16 hours of Lord of the Rings, and then I was playing Zelda. So it was like 2 a.m, and I could not figure out how to attach an icicle to a thing to make like a lever move. And it was just like, I know what I have to do, and my brain's just not functioning enough. I was like, I gotta go sleepy sleeps. And I woke up the next morning, I was like, let's do this. And I just destroyed it. It was like instant, like figured out the temple, beat the boss, ready to go. I just needed that brain reset. But it's been so good, and I'm finally into that groove where I'm like, yeah, I feel powerful enough. I'm upgrading, I'm fusing my weapons, I'm getting the hang of this. I'm learning my powers. It's becoming second nature to just like do stuff, like send things back at enemies or rockets or whatever, and building some more complex things. I found like the maneuverability, the steering wheel or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I'm in now. I'm in, right? You know what I mean? Like it's clicking. It's clicking. I'm feeling good.
Jason will use rockets for everything if you let him. Like, I'm not even kidding you. It's like
I use one on the Korok.
Yeah, you could just put
I'm not
fan on it.
There,
He's like,
buddy.
yeah, but I've only got like 30 fans. And I'm like, you only have like 4 rockets. He's like, yeah, but it's rockets. And I'm like, all right. He'll put like 3 on something as well. I'm like, that is way too many. He's like, no, it's not. It's good. He's like, they gave me 3. Clearly,
you don't want to go too short. You want to go too far. Yeah. You know how it is. You have to go over the mountain.
No, give a man some rockets.
They're like, here's a minecart and attach a couple around there, like 1 or 2. I'm waiting for them to respawn. I've got like 6 rockets strapped to this stupid minecart. I blow myself into the ceiling of this temple. Have to float back down. It was great. It was great, man. I get that. You give me some rockets, I'm attaching them to some stuff. That's great.
It's kind of crazy because everybody has a journey, I think, and they have a way to guide you, which I like, and then they try to give you enough just to have enough so you don't feel like, oh, I'm screwed. Although the ice, when you're getting that first power and you have to get cold, and if you do not get your shirt, like at the very beginning, like everybody, like I missed it. And somebody like, oh, I didn't know there was a shirt there. Like, yeah, I could have used that because I'm like eating so much food so I don't die and freeze to death. And that's never fun. Yeah, like, and then when in the air temple, once again, not warm enough. So I'm like having a great time fighting him, but I'm like, I'm dying of cold. This isn't even
Which is so funny. Like Jason, he went into I apparently explore very differently from my husband. So in the very beginning, when we were both playing the game, he's going into like the frozen area that's in the Great Sky Island.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just trying to heal using like regular foods and stuff. And then he looks over at me, and I have some fire or some spicy peppers. And so I've made cool resistance food. And he's like, where the heck did you find those? And I'm like, and this is what I love about these games is that everybody does have a different way of playing. I can't even tell you how many times during Breath of the Wild, we're both like, where did you find that? How did you get there? Where the heck even are you? What are you doing? Like, and it's happened again in Tears of the Kingdom. Somebody made the funniest joke about these 2 games, and I agree to this 100%. Breath of the Wild was the tech demo, and Tears of the Kingdom is the full game.
Which is
it's
wild.
So true.
Good Lord. The best game ever made is the tech demo? Come on.
Right?
Well, it's true.
Who would have thought that they'd have been like, and also you can make whatever the devil you want in this game. Like, Nintendo has seriously taken, I don't even know. They're just in their own separate category. They are above S category. Whatever would be above that, they're just there. That is Nintendo.
They watched it with the equivalent of a flip phone.
Yeah.
They watched everyone break Breath of the Wild for years, and they were like, you want to break this? Here you go. Attach attach a Korok to a shield, or like, I still want to find one of those chickens and attach it to a shield. Like, come at me, Bokoblins.
People have made some of the coolest things, and I think it's somebody's like, this is basically Minecraft on steroids. Yes. But Nintendo even said Minecraft is one of the best games in the world, and we took that personally. Yeah, clearly you did, because like, people are making Gundams, people are making tanks, people are making egg farms where they shoved some cuckoos in there, and so it continually tortures them, so eggs keep coming out. So like, I don't know. Like, this game is so good.
It's crazy, and I am battling the narrative piece, as I typically do with Zelda games, because we've learned Nintendo doesn't really, that's not their gameplay first, story if you got time.
And it fun? Yes.
Correct. And then I'm one of those people that like, I love mechanics, but story engages me and draws me in. And I struggle with this game because the story is out of sequence. There's there's a way to do it in sequence, but it is tough. And it's like, at one point, Ganon's almost killed me. Next point, Ganon's giving me, blah, 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 being nice to me. It's like, my head's breaking, guys, and it's crazy. It's weird, and I know I kind of let go of that. And the voice acting, once again, it's so arbitrary. It's like, there might be a little bit of voice acting here, and then they're going to just hear these weird moans. I've complained about the moaning and the weird sound effects. I'm like, I hate that. I wish they would say nothing rather than the. I mean, after all, I'm like, stop. Let me mute their reactions, because it's not endearing. It makes me want to choke them. It'd be even worse, Mark, if they said meow.
You're just missing the Banjo-Kazooie days.
I know. Oh, I love that too. The Simlish of it all.
I gotta love, though, that we got Matthew Mercer as Ganon.
Yes.
Like, that dude's like everywhere right now. I mean, he was already brilliant, but like, he got to be Ganon. I'm like, yes.
It's amazing. And they did pick some good voice actors, and I think I'm enjoying it. Like King Raru, I like him a lot. I like his voice. So I think they did pick some good voice actors.
Zonai design. So good. Have you guys seen the reward that you get if you complete all 152 shrines?
No.
I have not.
I will never see that reward. Shrines are a punishment.
If you don't ever plan to get all of the shrines, then you should go look up what the reward is, because I'm not going to tell you what the armor is, but the armor, if you upgrade it all the way, is like 82 base. So it's also one of the strongest that you can get.
Oh boy.
But based on what it does, the lore that you learn in Breath of the Wild now makes 100% sense. Some of the stuff that's in the murals about what happened during the Great War is going to make so much more sense.
Interesting. Okay, so it's not a golden poop.
It is not a golden poop. No, that's from Hestu.
Okay.
Again,
all right.
Nintendo.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I figured this would be Zonai colored poop.
There you go.
Green poop.
it's like when copper tarnishes, it turns green. Gotta love it. Yeah, it is.
Green and black.
Yeah,
very.
I can't believe Nintendo managed to troll us twice with the Korok seeds.
Yeah.
Kudos, Nintendo.
Yeah, not so much. Yeah, and it's funny because the shrines to me are punishment. I just want to get them over with. I don't enjoy them. I'm like, this is driving me. Like, I did this one, and I don't want to give any spoilers. It's a little bit of spoilers. It's something Bob. It's called Bob, and I'm like, okay, what is this? You're essentially dealing with a bobber in water, and I'm like, dang, I'm so dumb. And then I did this, and I played with this, and I did that. I'm like, oh, jeez. But it's like I just feel like I could waste like 2 hours trying to figure out just one shrine. I'm like, no, I'm not getting myself into that. But I know I need more like stamina or hearts. It's the battle that goes on forever. My son's like, just get stamina, Dad. Just get stamina. I'm like, I'm getting one-shotted by a bokoblin with a rock. I mean, that's how weak I am. So that goes. But it's fun. I'm having a lot of time, but I'm at a point where I'm like, I have 50 hours in. And I feel like I'm doing a lot and getting nothing accomplished. So I'm like, I have to move on. I have to now move on and get the rest of the towers, because if I only got one done and I'm at 50 hours, I'm like, I'm never going to play another game. So I got to move on. I think I'm ready to go head on and move forward.
Honestly, some of those shrines are complete trolls from the devs too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of how my brother played it, though. Actually, Todd, is he looked at the map, he got maybe the first temple done, and then decided, I'm not doing any more of these before I unlock the entire map. So find all of the towers.
Yep. I'm doing that right now.
Find as many shrines as I can, get as many hearts and stamina as I can, build up my arsenal, do this, do that, whatever. And then after like 100 hours, he went back and finished the other 3 temples and went after the end game. Like he's like 150 hours in, and he's just wrapping up all this stuff because he put like the 150 hours or whatever just exploring, just doing the stuff that you don't want to do. And then he took care of the rest of the stuff. So that's how he played it. And I might do it a little differently. I don't know. We'll see kind of where my path takes me, but that was his, without too many spoilers. That he hasn't given me too many spoilers, but he was just like, this is kind of what I did. So
yeah, I have to get over the point where if I explore an area and I find a chest, it's rarely going to have anything interesting. It's going to have like 15 arrows. That's what I kind of want, is like I did this awesome quest under the cavern. It's like, and it gave me something amazing versus, no, your reward was going through a cavern and dying a lot and drowning because you couldn't climb up something. Like, oh, okay, that's what it is.
If you
so
want good rewards, do the mazes. Those will give you like plethora once you, because you have to start at the middle. So you start in the regular world, then it tells you to go up. So you have to complete the stuff up there, and then you come all the way down into the depths. And there's just so much stuff in there. Like Jason's always like, because he's like, I have stuff, but I need this stuff, and it's good stuff.
My son told me go to the castle. So I've been going to the castle to get good gear. That's a great place to get good gear. Yeah, exactly. and equip ice to everything is all I will say. Ice is the best thing in this game. Yeah. Love it. Oh, well. Okay, anything else, Mark?
I have been playing something else, and I almost forgot about this, but I am playing a Game Boy Color game.
Ooh.
Which was released last week. Brand new for free. By McDonald's.
What?
In 2023. A Game Boy Color game.
What is it?
Let that sink in for a second. It's called Grimace's
game. It's not the McKids game.
It's called Grimace's birthday. I need to show it for anyone watching the YouTube video. This is like my Game Boy Color collection. You can see all my games and on my RG35XX. And it's just sitting there with all the others. And I can press that and it goes into an actual Game Boy Color game. And I got to turn my brightness down so you can see this on the screen, hopefully. That is a Game Boy Color game.
What?
In 2023. It is fantastic for a free game released by McDonald's in 2023 for the Game Boy Color.
$40 in 2002.
So crazy. Absolutely crazy. It is a skateboarding Metroidvania where you collect milkshakes and free the other McDonald's friends. There's a free skate mode, there's a score attack mode, and there's a main story with like 2 levels, and the 2 levels are broken up into different sub-levels. It took an hour or so to beat, but it was delightful, and I replayed it and then handed my system to my brother and was like, you need to play this because it's a Game Boy Color game that was released in 2023. What? Why does that exist? If you have a Game Boy Color, you could probably put this on a cartridge. It even does like the startup thing.
Seriously?
And it like the Game Boy Color like startup logo screen. Like it legitimately, this system thinks it's a Game Boy Color game. legit. Like it's the craziest, stupidest thing I've ever heard, and I love it to pieces. If you need a copy of it, you can Google it and you just download it for free and play it on
Internet Archive has it.
Can I play it on my Game Boy Advance?
If you can,
if you have a way to get ROMs on it.
Way to get ROMs on it.
That's true. Okay.
Or find a way to burn a.
Yep. You can play it in a browser. It will play, but it will play on like the original hardware. If you could find a way to put ROMs on it or to like flash this onto a cartridge, like it will work. It will work in a Game Boy Color. It will work in a Game Boy Advance. Straight up, yes. It is a Game Boy Color game. Like I said, this is an emulation machine. It runs every kind of Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, all that kind of stuff. But it's like the original ROMs. This is a Game Boy Color ROM. It's not some sort of hack or something like that. It just works. And it like try it on your browser, on your phone, whatever. But if you have some emulation hardware that has like a proper D-pad and buttons and feels like a Game Boy, this is the way to play it, man. This brought me so much back to like those Game Boy Color games of weird little tie-ins and all that kind of stuff. Happy birthday, Grimace. You gave me a great present. So good.
Reminds me of those Burger King Xbox 360 games.
Yeah.
Sneaking and yeah, some good stuff. Yeah. So good, and man. I did play that on the browser. It's great. It's on Internet Archive. And the fact that McDonald's even said like, let's do this because all those kids with their hacked GB color systems.
So
I mean,
random.
it is McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's weird.
Like so random.
It's the year of Grimace, I guess.
Advance game. Why not a Game Boy game? Why'd they choose Game Boy Color of all things? Like, just such a weird decision, and I love it so much. It's so dumb, and I love every second of it.
Wow. You gotta love it. Good job, McDonald's. Now you gotta get a purple.
And that's all I've been playing.
Grimace shake mark.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I haven't checked if my McDonald's is locally doing Grimace shakes. Anyway, Todd, you've been playing some other stuff though. What have you been?
I did finish Street Fighter 6. Played a little bit of my the open world level of that, where I created my own guy who was the most horrific looking thing in the world. He was a shiny tan. He had a sunken in like a really. Like he had like a Rob Liefeld like overbearing like packed chest and like no he was just a freakazoid and I loved him to pieces. Play that a little bit. It's fun. It's like an RPG where your reward is leveling up his new powers and you run into all the Street Fighter characters. It's a weird game. Like you're just running to people with boxes in their head, beating them up and leveling up. It's very weird, but I played it. It's fun. It's not for me because I want like a full-fledged Mortal Kombat story. So played that. Played some more Diablo, actually played online with Sean Nias. We had a great time. Connectivity is awesome. I do want to play more Diablo, but it's definitely more fun to play with people than it is by yourself because it's a very repetitive game by nature. And it does feel like, wow, I feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over and again. And I don't love the skill tree that I selected with the Necromancer. And then to redo it all, it just feels like work. So I need like a web app to like select all my things and then just have it appear like in Destiny where you could create your build on the app and then do it. So I'm hoping for that. But I'm going to play more Diablo. But the game that I've been playing some games from the Steam Fest Demo Fest, I guess what they're calling it. And what's great about Steam is when you go into Steam, you'll bring up this demo fest and you'll just see everybody live streaming the games in your Steam browser. So you'll see them playing these games and you're just seeing how much fun they're having and what they're doing. And you get a feel for the gameplay along with it. I just love that. I think it's best here. I wish PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo could do something like that because I think it's really amazing to see those games being played rather than just seeing a movie or something like that. So I really like it. So it gives you a good feel for like what demos you should play. The only bad thing about Steam Fest is the demos are timed. Like they only last for a week and then they like evaporate out of your Steam catalog, which I hate. It's like, why? So you have to play it. Maybe that's the whole point. It's like play these now or you'll miss it. So I did play a couple because people have been talking about some of the ones that really stand out. So I stuck to the digital devolver section and they had a couple games that I tried. One was called Bleaksword DX. And this game looks like it was a Virtual Boy game, but without the red haze. And it's a weird, like, individual, like, almost one, think of like Zelda 1, where you have like one board. And that's all it is. It's one board, and you beat it, and then you go almost like a Mario world, Super Mario 3, where you've got like a world map, and you go to the next one, and it's one board. And it is but the art style is like an Intellivision or an Atari 2600 art style. It's a little bit less than 8-bit. I don't know the best way to describe it, but the field of depth gives it a 3D quality that looks amazing. Reminds me of like an early like Virtual Boy game. It's very unique in the way it floats around, and the art style is really, it's something they couldn't have done on those systems, but it's like very stylized. It's like the HD 2D effect or something like that. Really enjoy it, but it's definitely pared down. The sound is awesome. It's a very simple, it's a melee game where you're fighting these monsters, and there's 10 nodes to get to the first boss at World 110. And you do get levels up. You do get rewards. You get like a shield enhancement. You get more strength. It's really cool, but once again, it's very limited. And I didn't love the combat because it's one of those things where it's directionally motivated. So if you're going to hit with your sword, you move forward as you do it. So if you miss, that's not good. So it's kind of your momentum leads you forward. I don't love that. I love more of like I'm static so I can control it. So there's a bit of you have to make sure you're pointing the right direction or you'll slide past or you'll mess up. So, but I love it. I think this is going to be somebody's favorite game, and it's definitely, I just check out the art style. It's really cool. Highly recommend just checking it out because it's neat. I want to see more of these type of experiments in style and using different art forms within games. It's really cool. And the sound design was really neat too. I liked what they did, and they played around with it really well.
The game looks like it'd be really good in like VR, where you can
absolutely
kind of look at it like a set piece, kind of like Moss or something like that, where I think it'd be kind of interesting to just kind of look around that little diorama 8-bit-ish kind of style of, but be able to like kind of change your perspective just by moving around kind of thing, but you don't have to too bad. I think that'd be really neat.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're hearing about a theme, and a lot of people, like I listened to a show called DLC, and they're big into VR. They're like, they wish there was more games that weren't in first person in VR. There was more like Astrobot or a Moss or something like that, where you're kind of you're immersed in a world, and you're almost playing it or seeing it in a different fashion that really brings it to life. So to your point, this could work really well in VR, and I think it would really, really engage you more so than just on a flat screen.
Also, for anyone that wants to try it, it's free if you have Apple Arcade. So if you have an Apple device and Apple Arcade, just download it like I just did on my iPad right to the side of me.
I swear this was announced at like one of the Switch. I thought it was coming to consoles as well too, maybe.
I think it is coming to Switch.
Yeah. But it's you'll definitely know. You're like, oh, that game looks familiar, and it is. The other game I played a demo of is called Stick It to the Stickman. This is essentially a hyper stylized stickman fighting. It's very fun, but the lens is the stickman is essentially, this is a climbing the corporate ladder, and you do it by beating up your coworkers, going up ladders. You have to go essentially up 10 ladders, and then you have to beat your boss. You get cool special abilities like using a hammer, which is so weird. You can drink coffee to power up. You get acrobatics. You get hurricane kicks. You can throw knives, which I don't know either in the office to begin with. It's very weird, but you go through it.
I mean, doesn't everybody stab each other in the back anyway?
True, sporks, right?
It sounds just like real life to me.
Exactly. It's the art style's simple though, but it looks cool, and I love it's kind of also like Fall Guys. Not Fall Guys. It's like that. What's that one game? Something Beasts, where it's kind of physics based, where you're beating each other up, but you fall off, and Gang Beasts. It's a little bit of that too, in the way it controls in the physics. Really enjoyable. And then you go up to the top and you fight your boss, and if you beat your boss, then like the CEOs like tell you like, oh, do you want to be our employee, and do you want to succumb to us? And you can choose all these responses. And I will just say I responded poorly, and they ended up killing me. So I became a new trying to raise my way up. The second time I did, I got to the boss at the top. He just shot me with a gun, and I died. I'm like, what? and then
Rude.
and then I finally won, and there's a cool twist in this game, and I don't know if I want to give it away or not, but it's like just a demo. In the demo, you can do it, so I won't give it away. But it's very funny when you do accept a promotion and how they flip-flop it on you. I think this is a lot of fun. It's definitely something where you can change it up every time because you can choose like your style of combat, like, oh, you're a caffeine freak, or you're handyman. It's your style, and it's your ability to power-ups is there. You get caffeine, you get like supercharging crazy, and you get a little crazy. Then there's like you're throwing people into electric equipment, so it explodes and gets in electric, people get damaged from electricity. It's very clever, very fun. It's got a little Sixth Sense of humor, which I like too. I think you guys should check it out. I don't know if this is going to come to anything other than Steam, but it's digital Devolver, so I'm guessing they'll get it out there because there's no reason it couldn't come to everything. So check out Stick It to the Stick, man. Just check the video out.
I'm looking at these images and these GIFs and stuff, and this is 100% those epic stick fights.
Yes.
Like we all saw on YouTube, 15 years ago, right? But somebody turned it into a game instead of just a simple animation, which those animations, by the way, were super epic. I mean, they're pulling out swords out of nowhere and like
Matrix effects and
yes,
it was Bruce Lee light. I mean, it was amazing. So I'm glad we're finally getting to the ability to actually do this in a game versus someone animating it, like as actual video. So so check that out. So that is it for what we've been playing, but now we're going to get into the big part of the show, the bonus round. This is all about the Nintendo Direct that happened out of the blue. We didn't think we were going to get one. Nintendo was like, we don't want to be part of your Summer Games Fest. We want to be part of the late June Games Fest that we're throwing. So we got this event. And before we get into this, I just want to let everybody know what I predicted wrong. And I'll let you know right now that I was not great. So, Mark, if you have your predictions, you can give those too. But really quickly, what did I expect to see? Summer Games Fest, I expected Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay, Kojima, and Call of Duty. Only one of those things happened, Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay. Xbox, I expected to see Hellblade 2, didn't. Game Pass Family Plan, didn't. Starfield console, didn't. Ubisoft, X-Defiant, that was there. Nintendo, NSO Next releases, and Mario Kart Next Tracks. I was half right, because we did get the Mario Kart Next Tracks. What I wanted to see at Summer Games Fest was Team Asobi, new Astrobot, or a Marvel trailer. Neither of those. Xbox, I wanted a new tier for Game Pass for Xbox Live Gold and Crimson Skies. Didn't get that. Ubisoft, I said I wanted to see a new Star Wars game. I did get that. Nintendo?
And it looks phenomenal.
Yes, it does. We're very excited for that game. For Nintendo, I wanted to see A Link Between Worlds on Switch. Did not see that. What I didn't want to see at Summer Games Fest, Kojima on stage gushing with Jeff Keighley. Didn't see that. Thank you, Jeff Keighley. Xbox, I did not want to hear them talk about players' hours of interaction. Don't care about that. Forza Porn and Starfield, because we were going to get that Starfield extra event. So in a large way, they kind of they gave me 1 out of 2 that I didn't want to see. Ubisoft, I didn't want to see Just Dance, of course. More Just Dance, and apparently it's an esport event, esport Olympics dancing event. I don't know. Yeah. I did not want to see Skull and Bones again until it's announced and it's on sale. We got a song from Skull and Bones, so I guess there's that. Yeah, and then Nintendo, I did not want to see Everybody 1-2 Switch and lots of Pikmin. I got one of those. I didn't get the other one. Because I knew, because the reason why, because Pikmin is coming out like in 3 weeks. So I'm like, we know it's coming. You don't have to give me more information. So that's where I landed. Not too successful. Mark, anything that you wanted to call out on your own?
Let's see. My expectations, like I expected Microsoft and Activision to kind of like push hard that they're going to keep supporting other platforms. Like anything that Activision announced, it would be like, hey, this is coming to everything. I can't remember if that kind of happened or whatever. EA, again, I wanted more Star Wars stuff from like EA or Ubisoft, and we got that. I did want Jedi Survival DLC. That didn't happen, but we did get the next the next Star Wars game, so good stuff. I did not want to see a huge like, this is coming to mobile and this is coming to mobile and here's some Netflix games and this is like, I just didn't really want that, and I don't think, for the most part, I think they kind of didn't do that. I just wanted like the focus on gameplay for Starfield, like no more teases. I just want to, and we saw that in the extended play session. I also did want a Perfect Dark and an Xbox exclusive marble game. Did not get either. Assassin's Creed, we saw that. I said I wanted to see both Mirage and hopefully a peek at some new stuff. We saw the Netflix or the Assassin's Creed VR stuff, so I think I was pretty delivered on that one. And I wanted Mario plus Rabbids DLC stuff, and we got 2 announcements and some of the final DLC coming up, and 2 mentions of that. So I thought that was pretty good. And from Nintendo, here we go. I wanted to know WTF is happening this fall. Tears of the Kingdom's out already. Pikmin 4 is coming out. Show some new stuff. Get me excited for the fall. Here's where I failed. I wanted Wind Waker and Wave Race. And I didn't want Nintendo not to show up this summer. So I they showed up, which is good. But I did not get Wind Waker. I did not get Wave Race. But holy mackerel, did we ever get what's coming up this fall? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yes, the Nintendo Direct happened, and this Nintendo Direct is, for some, it's the Nintendo Direct of Dreams, as it would say, kind of like the PlayStation Direct of Dreams. So let's go through this really quick. We'll go through these announcements. We can tag team if anybody wants to go into something. So we'll kind of go chronologically. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero DLC gets fully detailed. Kind of surprised we got Pokemon information in Nintendo Direct. Typically, they do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll take that silence and move on. Multiplayer farming. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
No, I was going to say it is what it is. They still don't have the Nidoran evolution, so I'm still like, but it looks cool. It looks neat.
Yeah, lots of Pokemon wearing masks. That's what I took away. They're wearing masks. Why are they wearing masks? I don't know. Multiplayer farming sim Palia coming holiday 23 and also to Switch. Let me tell you, there's a lot of cozy games on Switch, and this is one of those cozy games where they're building things and farming things, and it's like, okay, cool. There's a lot. If you watch the cozy, what was it the Wholesome Games Direct? Yeah, you literally got 33 games that were a theme of farming, fashion, and fun, and cats.
Awesome.
So there's something for everybody.
It's the aesthetic that's incredibly popular right now. I mean, I know we tend to get a lot of like horror games or like super hyper realistic games or whatever, TV shows, whatever, and all that kind of stuff. But like I'm kind of calling it the kawaii movement of the Americas. Like Japan's like, everything's kawaii. And now Americans are like, oh yeah, we like that stuff too.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's something for everybody. So, and glad it's there. And it's definitely not for me, but I know it speaks to so many people. Exactly. And I can tell you, Harvest Moon to all these other ones, Disney Dreamlight Valley, there is more than enough. You are eating well if you're into those games. New Splatfest pits vanilla against strawberry and mint ship July. Is a Splatfest really worthy of announcing anymore? There's been so many Splatfests, and that's all Splatoon is getting. That's so kind of disappointing for like one of their best-selling games, and it's like they're just not giving anything to anybody.
And they have DLC coming up that they still have shown one crappy trailer of. Like, who cares? Stop with the Splatfests and just give us what is going to keep people actually coming back to this game, aside from the hardcore people who are coming back for every Splatfest regardless. I didn't get that decision. I thought it slowed the show down immensely.
Detective Pikachu 2 is real, and it's coming this year, and I guess Pikachu loves coffee. That's what I took away from that game.
He's adorable. That's all I have to say about him.
Yep.
Do you think they should have put Ryan Reynolds' voice in it, though? I mean, is that a bridge too far?
I think it should have, maybe not Ryan Reynolds, because I don't know, but like
He's
something that sounds a little bit more similar or something. Like it was off-putting. It was more like if they cast like Danny DeVito or something. So if you're a fan of the movie and you're expecting the games to be the same, it was a little off-putting. But I kind of get it.
Yeah, and I know the first game people really enjoyed, and obviously the movie. So it seems weird that now it's 3 years later and this is finally happening, and no sequel is announced for the movie. Then we get Super Mario RPG Remake. This was I think it was one of those great where it teases you with like, oh, we're just getting it for NSO. Nope. Here it is in real. It's a fully remade game, new artwork. It does look like it's going to essentially be it's not going to vary. It's not, as far as I can tell, nobody's talked that this is going to be a different type of game where they're going to change up the gameplay. They are redoing some of the music with the original composer, which people are excited about. It's a game I've never played, so I'm really interested to see how it's aged. I'm not big into turn-based RPGs, but I love the South Park turn-based RPG. So if it's entertaining and fun in that format, I'm curious because I've got a Nintendo voucher I need to use. I don't know what to use it on. So it might be this game. But I don't know. I need a demo or something to really tell me if I'm going to enjoy it, because it's not on NSO right now, which seems weird that they wouldn't do both. But well,
if you don't have another game that you can use one single voucher on after watching this, I'm taking over this show. Todd's done that. So Princess Peach is getting her own. No, I'm just joking.
So crude. So cruel. Dude, so cruel.
There's so much. My brother and I both bought new vouchers because there's too much for one. This is insane. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
But I don't know. I think it looks fun because I do like that kind of it's action-based, turn-based RPG. The writing's supposed to be very good in this game. Sound's supposed to be amazing. But once again, it's a 30-plus-year-old RPG with essentially a fresh coat of paint. Unless I assume they may give us another direct or something like that to go deeper into like what's different. But at this point, it just feels like this is a visual upgrade, kind of like the Metroid Prime we got, which was a remaster, but visually it was stunning and everything like that. And that might be enough.
As someone who's recently replayed a decent chunk of this game, it still holds up. The original, like play it on Nintendo Switch Online or an emulator machine.
Is it not? I heard it's not on there though.
Was it not? I played
it's not. That's the thing. It's not even on NSO. They're like, why isn't it on NSO? So I was like, why not both?
Yeah, that's weird. But it definitely still holds up.
Princess Peach getting her own game, but it doesn't have a name. And really, this is so weird for Nintendo. Like, not even tell us like what's the twist? What's the unique thing? Because we've only got one game before with this character. Wasn't well regarded, wasn't loved. No one's talking about it years later. So I am curious. There's a stage element and maybe a performance element, but that's still not leading me down that what is going to be the catch of this game. So if someone can maybe, I guess, kind of reach out and say, this is what I think is going to happen, I'd love to hear it, because as of right now, what I saw was like, okay, that's a thing, but it's not gameplay really. So,
yeah,
everybody's no one has a feel for it.
I think they're just teasing. I think I think that was kind of one of the points of this direct, was just like, we have some stuff coming up. We can't stay silent. We're still, people have been calling out like, it's the end of the Switch lifestyle cycle. Like, let's kind of like roll out these swan songs or whatever. So this was kind of Nintendo coming up and being like, we have stuff that we're not even going to tell you the name of. We have stuff that we're not, like, it's so far in the future that we're not going to give you any details other than it exists, to give you the confidence to go out and buy a Switch OLED, a Switch for the family or the person that doesn't have it this fall, this holiday season. Switch is still a good buy. There's games that we haven't even named yet. Here's a quick little image of some stuff, some teasers. Switches still have a ton of life. You're safe to go buy one right now. Go do that right now, please.
I sincerely hope someone has taken the Peach teaser and put peaches to it.
Yes.
I'm sure that's somewhere on YouTube at this point, but Yes.
President of the United States. I hope they take a page from The Puppeteer, which is a game I'm sure nobody has ever heard of on PS3. It's on their streaming service. It is fantastic. It's a really adorable game, and it is from a state. You're basically in a stage play. There's an audience actually applauding you as it's happening. There's musical numbers. It's wonderful. It's got great mechanics. So if they stole from that, I'd be all in on this, and it'd be so much fun because it's almost like performing and doing actions could be really told, especially if there's like a narrator or someone. So this could be really charming and really fun. So I hope Peach gets her day on the screen or on the console. We're getting Luigi's Mansion's Dark Moon from the 3DS getting a remake now. This is funky because, Carly, you mentioned you love the idea of it, not so much in the playing of it. I love Luigi's Mansion 3.
I've never been able to play it. That's the difference.
But you have a Switch, right?
I've never had the chance. Yes.
So did you play 3?
No.
3 is amazing. You could play that game on your... It's amazing.
I know. I know. Okay, so we're very... I don't know. We're I don't know how to word this. I don't know how to word this at all. It's not that we don't want to buy games. It's that it's like when there's already these other games that are already out that we know are just going to take a plethora over time. And then it's hard to remember to go back and buy games. And so It's easier for me to be like, okay, I can't do the whole backlog thing. I just can't. I don't have a to be read list. I don't have a to be played list. I just can't do that. It stresses the heck out of me. If it comes up later that I'm like, hey, someone gave me this game. It's like, okay, well, now I'm going to play it. But I'm not going to be like, oh, I have this whole list of games that I need to buy, that I need to do something with, because then it's also like, but there's also all these other games that are coming up. And so we live in a really great time where like, I don't need to worry about going back.
I love that attitude. I call it a collection and a backlog because I don't tackle my backlog. It's just there for something I know I might have enjoyed at one time, and I'm perfectly fine for not. It's not money wasted. It's money appreciating people's efforts to make great games. So you totally get it, especially when the game is taking 100+ hours of your time. I mean, with the Tears of the Kingdom. But this one
not that we're naming games.
No. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, I believe, is the sequel, right? Is that right, Mark?
Yep.
Okay, so it was on 3DS. I played a little bit of it. I didn't love the 3DS game. Like, I just didn't like playing on that little screen with those really wonky controls. So the fact that this is getting remade, the last remake we got from a handheld was, I believe, Link's Awakening. And I really love that game.
That was a really fun remake. Our oldest played it and she loved it, which is saying something.
So I like the Luigi's Mansion 3. Love that quite a bit. Never played Luigi's Mansion for some reason. Not sure why. So it's great that we're getting this game. It's just weird that we're not getting Luigi's Mansion. We're getting them out of order. So weird. But I like this and the fact that it's coming forward and we're getting to play another game. So it's really cool.
Honestly, Luigi's Mansion 1 was a great tech demo, but very short. This is probably the best Luigi's Mansion game. So if you're going to port one, this is the one. Like, this is the one to get. This is the one to buy. Like, 3 was awesome, but like, this is just get this one. Do that.
And because Luigi's Mansion 3 was so acclaimed, I've got to imagine they're going to be doing some tweaks to this game to bring it up to like the acclaim that Luigi's Mansion 3 was. So we'll see if that happens. Next, we're getting the Batman Arkham Collection, excluding Origins. Including City, Night, which a lot of people are surprised because that really pushes systems. I'm glad it's coming out, and it's supposed to be, all the games are supposed to be native on Switch, which is pretty cool. Because if people got a streaming version of Night, that might not be well regarded.
I was waiting for that, and it's going to be streaming on Switch, and it just like straight up, just like they're running on the thing. Great announcement.
Then Dragon Quest Monsters. I know this is kind of a series that's been on DS and other things like that. It's essentially Dragon Quest Pokemon, and you can make them have little babies that are a mixture of monsters.
Yeah.
So
I want Dragon Quest Builders 3. That is all I'm sure
out for. Get that eventually. That was very successful. I understand. Then we get Pikmin 4 gameplay walkthrough confirmed. It's basically the big news is you can now play at night with glowing Pikmin and the creatures. Essentially, it's a blood moon on the Pikmin planet.
Always.
Yes. And they look like little ghosts, which are really cute.
They're pretty darn adorable. I'm excited about that.
So
my biggest qualm with Pikmin was the time frame, because I was just enjoying the world. I wanted to explore and see it, and things like, nope, you got time, you got to get back. I'm like, you're killing my groove. So
I just found this thing.
Exactly, and that just so much fun.
Really
so and then you're killing my Pikmin.
And I heard they're making it even better this time. So you should be okay.
So I may rent this one. Gamefly is my friend. Metal Gear Solid Collection already announced, coming to Switch. No more to say there. Vampire Survivors finally coming to Switch. Like the last place that didn't have it is getting it. And we're getting co-op 4-player local coming to all platforms, which is cool, which is different. So 4 people playing Vampire Survivors at once.
Sounds fun, as long as it can hold up on Switch, man. That's the only worry. There's so much happening.
There's a lot going
on screen as you get further in that game. It's I need the Switch to run it well, because it's such a perfect place to play that. It feels like it's like right on a Nintendo console, like just the graphics and just the feel of it. But I need it to hold up. So we'll see.
Yeah. Wave 5 Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass added. Big news is probably the playable characters, Petey Piranha, Wiggler, and Comic, and there's a bathroom level where you can probably fly in the toilet.
Which was totally inspired from those people who were doing like the Mario home circuit thingies. And like set everything up. Like I was like, this is 100%. This is probably like the CEO's bathroom.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Is there a bidet? Is that confirmed? Water blast. That's a real Japanese bathroom. It's got a bidet. Oh well. Yes, hell yes. Another WarioWare game is coming on the way, and this is really getting into the full motion days of old, getting crazy and wacky with motions. Yeah, 1-2. Everybody 1-2 Switch failed, so WarioWare games could succeed. A lot of people are excited about this because this is the heart of WarioWare. It's just being weird, wacky. You're gonna pick a nose. There's gonna be snot dripping down. Somebody's gonna fart.
Yep.
Looks great. No one batted an eye when I said any of those phrases. We are getting new amiibo. We're getting a Zelda from Tears of the Kingdom and Ganondorf, handsome Ganondorf, as people would call him, the best looking Ganondorf, as my son would say.
Rehydrated Ganondorf.
Exactly. Yeah. So those are going to be available in 4 months, which is so weird. It's like, really? You're not going after when it's hot? You're not dropping these. Well, like I understand waiting until you play the game, so there's no spoilers. But wow. Not like in September. Oh, well. Those are holiday gifts. And then we got the big surprise. Super Mario Brothers Wonder is coming. And if you look at my background, that's what's behind me. Just point out, we've got some weird little Goomba guys with bad toupees in the background. Don't understand that. Hippos that are highly inflatable. Mario with more actions and reactions than we saw ever. He's even more animated than the movie. He's doing all these wacky faces and things. I love it.
So good.
And there's already loads of fan art for Elephant Mario.
I'm sure.
But like really great. Like it's so fun. They've turned it into like those like classic kind of buff poses and everything, right? Because like he's an elephant. I mean, elephants are like basically nothing but muscle. I swear. But like it's like buff Mario with like a buff trunk and all of that. I'm like, this is fantastic.
Buff trunk. He's doing curls with his trunk.
He better be
out the beach. He's part of the Jersey Shore. The one thing we don't have confirmed is it's funny because they've done Mario suits before, but we've never had Mario fully, except for Odyssey, where he like transformed into the enemies. This one, it's like full on Mario has turned into an elephant. He's not wearing an elephant suit. And I'm like, are we gonna get a Toad elephant, a Peach elephant, a Luigi, a Yoshi elephant?
Well, it looks like Yoshis are another transformation in this game because you saw 4 Yoshis running around and no one was riding them. So it looks like Mario, Peach, and the gang can maybe turn into Yoshis.
Okay.
Or at some point you just take over and play as Yoshis, because there was nothing else indicating that like there was another like character present for that. So that could be another animal transformation. We could be seeing like the Mario version of Animorphs in this one.
I was so stoked just to see that you could even do couch co-op though. Like,
yeah, 4-player, 1 life. You share a life, I think, as you can see behind me, with the character. Well, maybe not this one, but the other one. But they basically, it's once again sharing lives, I believe, between 4 players. So you have to be kind to each other, or that could be derail everyone's fun. I don't know about Bubbles, if Bubbles will be back, because it was a big thing about like people saving people, especially younger kids, if they don't want to die. And apparently, there's no more bouncing on heads that's been removed. So you can't platform off people's heads.
I'm okay with that, because I can't even tell you how many times my kids would do that. And I'm like, I'm trying to go somewhere.
No, children are not good for gameplay. And I used to get so annoyed. My son, he'd pick me up and throw me. Don't want like that.
So much fun. It's kind of part of the fun and the chaos.
Oh, sure.
But when you're also binging the game with each other for like 4 hours, you start throwing controllers.
And you're like, can we just finish this? Can we just finish it? Let's move on, please. I'm tired of this level.
Almost like you want that to be a mode that you can turn on like chaos mode or something. And then you can be like, like I remember the one for the Wii U, and whoever had the Wii U gamepad, like someone would jump and you just hit that platform there and they'd bonk their head on the platform and fall down. And you just be like, ha ha. And it just caused fist fights in your living room. That was great for a second. But when you actually wanted to run through and finish stuff, it was just like, stay back. I'm bubbling everyone right now.
Everybody's, go to your corner. We finish this. Daddy's going forward.
Daddy's going to parkour. Let's go.
Exactly.
So it's, parkour. Yeah, parkour.
We have no confirmation if Mario's going to blow water out of his trunk, because you know what? That's got to happen. Something's got to happen. We haven't seen power-ups with this.
Great long-range attack.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be a lot of fun.
I love the narrator in this.
Water balls instead of like fireballs and stuff. He does like water balls.
Yeah. I like that. Water ball, pocket sand. I like that the narrator kind of interacts with this, which is very unlike most Nintendo games. You kind of see it's like, hey, that looks like a pretty bad Goomba. Oh, never mind, you just kicked it into oblivion. Cool, let's go.
Hey, that flower's talking to you, by the way. Yeah, there's so many talking flowers.
So this whole game is an LSD trip. Like, it's just Nintendo's just like, we're done being a family thing. Like, you guys can watch the movies now, but we're just licking mushrooms and flowers and going on trips. Let's do this.
There is a thought this is going to follow the Odyssey was like the Odyssey, like the Iliad, the Odyssey, on a journey. They're talking about this one might be tailored to Alice in Wonderland. Like, eat this, get bigger, lick this, lick a frog, see what happens. Lick a toad, maybe.
Flower and go into a totally weird universe where you're shadow silhouettes that can stretch into long cats.
Mario. Yeah. Do all the crazy things. Yeah. What do they say?
This is what Nintendo does best, is they give us these things and we're like, we had no idea we wanted this. I had no idea I wanted to stick a bomb to my shield on Tears of the Kingdom. But you know what? I've done it how many times now? Yeah. I had no idea I wanted to be a shadow silhouette and stretch into long cat Mario. I didn't know I wanted it, but now I need it.
Yeah. And we haven't really got a new, like, the last really iteration on a 2D Mario was New Super Mario Brothers. We got a ton of those. We got Mario Maker, but every time they've done a new iteration of Super Mario Brothers, the 2D, they tend to do some new experimentation. Try it, because everybody thought, what are they going to do now? Super Mario Makers, we can do everything. It's like, no, they're going to throw something that's not just a standard tool set item. They're going to play with it, recreate it, and make it fun, which I appreciate. Because at first I saw this, I'm like, oh, really? We're going back to that well with New Super Mario Brothers? I'm like, what are they going to give us, 1 billion coins this time? Or are they going to do something silly like that where they kind of milk that, how many more times can you get the new Luigi's Mario Brothers U Special Edition Deluxe?
Nope, we're going to turn you into an elephant this time.
Exactly. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, I assume. Just like when we saw Odyssey, it's like when we saw Mario do those things on Odyssey, you're like, oh my goodness. and then we saw so much more. Yeah, and you can
Mm-hmm.
the Tyrannosaur Rex. Come on, that was pretty amazing. So this is going to be a November game. So we got our RPG is an October game. We've got this is their November game. So they've set themselves up really well, along with Pikmin DLC, for a very solid year coming forward with a lot of extra games from like independent developers. Obviously, Sonic's coming out, and I don't know if you all saw the new Sonic Superstars Lego. That blew my mind. I'm like, that is amazing. Basically, you turned into Lego Sonic and Lego Eggman, and you're battling each other, and like Lego parts are coming off. I'm like, that's a really cool use of Lego. I like that. Anything else? Because there's some other things that were announced, but those are the ones I just want to call out that were big. Pikmin 1 and 2 got dropped, so those are available now if you play those old games that are there.
Myth Force for me kind of stood out. Looks like a Saturday morning cartoon. I thought that was a really cool aesthetic, really cool look. I hope that game's good. That one and the Pikmin love, man. The fact that in a few weeks we're going to be able to get every single Pikmin game, like mainline Pikmin game, minus the weird like 3DS kind of offshoot or whatever. But like 1, 2, 3, 4 on Switch, all living there, like. Man, that's awesome. The only other one I want to call out, because we're talking about like weird acid trips. So the fact that there's a pigeon rhythm battle royale game called Headbangers. If anyone had that on their 2023 Summer Game Fest bingo card, like, you win. Don't care. If you had pigeon rhythm battle royale game, you win. If someone predicted this, I want to know what toads you've been licking to predict this. Tell me, because that's fantastic. Okay. I hope it's better than Skatebird. Carly,
Hadafil, what was it? Hadafil Boyfriend? It was about pigeon dating sim.
Right. Yes. One? Yeah. What a pigeons getting all the game love. Carly, any other games like stand out to you that, like, what was your game of the show?
I think my game of the show is probably Mario Bros. Wonder. That's what I'm spending my other voucher on. That's what it's going to be. But I just find it funny that Gloomhaven is coming to the Switch.
Yeah.
And I only point this out. So I'm on BackerKit crowdfunding a lot. So I'm over there. I've ran a couple of campaigns through them. For those who don't know what BackerKit crowdfunding is, BackerKit handles a lot of the surveys that come after Kickstarter campaigns. And so they've started to do their own crowdfunding platform similar to Kickstarter, but it's just them now. Anyway, Gloomhaven, the creators of Gloomhaven, Frosthaven, whatever, they just launched another campaign to do like reprints of like everything that they've ever done. So I found it really interesting that they've got that going on, and then it was announced in the Nintendo Direct. And so I was like, cool, really good for you guys. Like, I love seeing when my fellow creators and stuff are doing this kind of stuff. I'm like, kudos. I mean, obviously they're way bigger than I will probably ever be, but it's just fun to see these connections that I'm like, hey, I saw you here and I saw you here.
Yeah, and like Gloomhaven game is on PlayStation. It's and I've heard it's a good console
adaptation
version of it, because obviously Gloomhaven is a very expensive detailed board game. So this might be a gateway drug to get people into the board game. Yeah. It's very cool.
Good marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to call out one game. It really surprised me. It's called Penny's Big Breakaway. This is the team behind Sonic Mania. This is a cool 3D platformer where essentially you have a yo-yo, but you use the yo-yo as essentially a melee weapon, but also as a traversal, like almost like a vehicle. This game blew me away. I'm like, I love the idea of it. I love 3D platformers, and this one has a good pedigree. So I'm really surprised that this just game is coming from nowhere. Don't know when it's coming out, and quite honestly, I don't know how much they're going to charge, but this could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, priced right. I think this will be on a ton of Switches. Priced wrong, and when it comes out, it could be kind of a little bit overlooked if it comes out at a busy time. So I think, location plus price is going to be a big factor in this one, but it looks like it could definitely be like a little indie darling, platformer darling kind of thing if it was priced right and fit in there at a good time.
Well, very, very good. And lastly, I want to say Edward Varnell, he wanted to call out that he basically said outside of Mario and that amazing GIF that is the giving me a life, LOL. I assume was there a GIF that I missed with Mario?
The one that you posted, I think, with this post, I think is what he's talking about.
Oh, got it. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, okay.
Post. Yeah.
I appreciate that, Ed. I try to be funny when I do that to get people's attention. Silent Hope is right up my alley, and I have to joke because that game, it made me lose it when they said, a princess is imprisoned in a prison of her own tears. I'm like, gag. It's not for me, obviously, because that's just way too anime for me.
I want to like edit that with the anchor man of like, I'm in a glass cage of emotion of him in the phone booth. Like that needs to follow that up immediately.
Yes. So that made me laugh, but yeah, I know, Ed, where you are with your love of certain games. He goes right up my alley along with Detective Pikachu, Star Ocean, Myth Force, and Penny's Big Breakaway, of course, the Zelda amiibo. And really quick, that Star Ocean game, talk about that 2D H2 style. That's on fire. And I love it how they're doing that. I was a surprise.
Yeah, such a great art style. Don't know if I'll play that one, but like art style, give me a Pokemon game that looks like that. Like, holy, what an art style. Fantastic.
I'm ready for like action RPG games, not just the turn-based that do that as well. I would love to see some of those games happen. Like there's a Brave Fencer Musashi back on the PlayStation 1. If they did that style using like the PlayStation graphics and that from Square, I would be all over that too.
Yeah.
Well, very good. So this was actually a very fun direct. Mark, I do have to choose like my voucher because as of right now, it ends up in February, and I'm guessing we're not getting big games in like March or January, February that weren't already called out that are like calling to me. So it's probably going to be the Wonder.
Use them though. You can use the voucher up until the last day, even for a pre-order.
Correct. Yeah. So maybe we do get a January direct. Maybe we get another direct where they show some reveals.
Yeah.
I'm not counting my chickens because
to clarify that.
Yeah, I'm guessing we're not going to hear about anything big with Switch until like after they've sold everything they can sell in the holiday season, and then after that, like, okay, guys, thank you for buying those. Now here's our new system, and it's coming out in April. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah. Like I said, man, my brother and I were both in agreement after watching this. We were both like texting about it and then talking about it. My dad, we had a little birthday party for him yesterday, and we were just still like gushing over this direct and being like, yeah, did you buy a new voucher? Yeah, I bought a new voucher. Like we were both going to use it on Pikmin 4 and then RPG and Super Mario Wonder. Like, yeah, heads up. Like, let's go. Instant new voucher purchase. So like I know we're kind of like Nintendo people, but hook, line, and sinker. This one got us. If they wanted to sell more games, but sell more vouchers, like yep,
they did it. Yep. And pro tip to those in the States. Costco always runs deals on their gift cards for Nintendo. I ended up getting $100 worth of Nintendo gift cards for $80. And then use that for my vouchers. So for $80, I essentially got Zelda, and I'm probably going to get this game. So it's going to save me about $60. So that's not a bad deal if you can work on that.
Dang.
Yeah. Look for that. I'm a big deal hound.
My parents for that because I think they still have a Costco membership.
Yeah. So definitely, if you have questions about that, let me know. So that is our show. Hopefully, everybody had a good time as we talk about the Nintendo finally filling up their fall, and we're excited for games coming out this year. So some good surprises. So thank you, Nintendo. So with that, Carly, tell people where they can find you.
So if you go to trulynerdy.com, you can find my game handles and then a couple links to the various businesses that I do, like my woodworking and my gamer apparel for things like a Togepi hoodie. And you can, that same handle, by the way, the CR Kjelstrom is also my Twitter, my Stimulus, and my Instagram. It's pretty much all of them at this point. Everything.
Fantastic. Well, thank you once again for coming on. This is always fun to hear about your adventures, and love your approach to gaming with your husband, because that's a cool approach. My wife does not game, and I love to hear other people do game with their spouses. That's wonderful.
He'll live vicariously through us, huh?
Absolutely. Mark, when they're streaming Mario Kart and yelling at each other, I'm like, oh, I wish that was me and my wife yelling at me about how bad I was, or
Yeah. A friend of mine just is like, she's like, something came up on like Instagram or something from a while ago, but it was or TikTok or something, but it was basically like, my wife and I were streaming, I think Mario Kart or Party or something like that, and I ripped a banana in two. She was just like, looked like, what is wrong with, like, open a banana like a normal person. I was like, I don't know. Tore it in half, and it was like, that was the highlight clip, but it was like playing a game in the background as well. It's just such a weird random clip to pop up. We
Mark, fun. I am convinced you're Nick from New Girl.
I'll take this as a compliment. I don't know exactly.
Oh, that's great. It's Jake Johnson from the Peter B. Spider-Man. It's a great show. It's a great sitcom.
One of the best Spider-Mans. Spider-Man.
But he's great on that show. He's just so weird and funky. Yeah, he would eat a banana like that. Yeah. So Mark, tell people how they can find you eating a banana.
You can find me everywhere eating a banana. By ripping it in two, because I've never ever been able to open a banana like a normal human being. At _Canardian, Instagram, Twitter, and Discord. Find us hanging out there.
Excellent. Well, you can follow me at Theoxtra, where I guess I'm going to attack Mark and his taste in movies with Super Troopers on Twitter. And I'll be talking a lot about just the wonderful world of gaming and hopefully from sports news, man. I really, the doldrums with baseball right now. I want some football talk. I want college football talk. I love that stuff, and getting into fantasy football. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm getting Final Fantasy 16 delivered in the mail to me. So I'll be talking about that in the next couple of weeks. So thank you all. And yes, follow everything Secret Friends Unite. SecretFriendsUnite.com is the best place. And Patreon.com/SecretFriendsUnite for all our cool new content. So
do it.
Thank you, Carly. Thank you, Mark. It's been a pleasure. We'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about more gaming, and we would love to game with you. Remember, folks, it's always better to game together.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow @SecretFriendsU on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.